Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Wormer, and this is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, and we're about to cross-examine or hear the testimony at the very least of Furio Tigre. This guy is scaring the entire court. He doesn't scare me personally, but he does scare Maya, so, you know, we're gonna have to, like, deal with that at some stage. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with the business in December last year, spent all my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. You just want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. That's not a very good alibi when it's someone that, like, will do anything for you. You know what I mean? That's a very short statement. Ah, at last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Ah! Judge. Please, witness, if you can refrain from shouting like that. I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Lowlife, me? Listen up, smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000 and you're gonna borrow that cash from me. That's one loan contract I refuse to sign. And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the Tigre. You got anything to say about this, Godot? You gonna help me? I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute. That's really not. This witness is, how can I put it, a hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's head off, yours too. Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You'd better be listening. I said I got no business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. The court will impose a penalty for any relevant What? Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination. You basically just said you will get a penalty for trying to find information or the truth. Yes, Your Honor. So we can't press every statement. We have to just press oh my lord. You can do it, Nick. Come out from under there already. Would you, Maya? Why don't you come under here? The tiger's alibi. Okay. I think that's like a bit of corruption right there. I understand in real court systems, if you do press too much and if you do object too much, they will like they will actually impose a penalty on you. But in this situation, we haven't even like talked to him once, and he's like imposing himself on the court. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business December last year, spent all my time in my office. So that's when the murder happened, right? That's when the murder happened. But we know he has tied up. I'm gonna press this. We know he has ties. We know he has some ties to the victim, right? Because he did take out a loan. Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know. You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is. Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadiverini? She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That seems like a rather, sketchy schedule. Okay, can we get the Canadian judge back in here or something like... What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he's doing on the day of the murder. So now what? Yeah, I'm pressing harder for, like, yeah. This is important. What do yous want? Phoenix. Oh, I thought Phoenix was gonna stand his ground. If you wouldn't mind, going into a bit more detail. This is a dead end, Wright, and you know it. Remember the rules. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness' last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tigre, the court asks you to add the last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. So now it's actually like I don't know. It's like completely changed the statement because we know that he does know about it. By the way, I never saw that kid before. We're gonna present this, right? Because we know for a fact. Maybe not for a fact. We know here the Tiger. Meet with the Tiger. He does know about this. He does know about this guy. And he can't hide it. Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glen Elg. But it appears that Mr. Glen Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the Tiger. And the date? December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you indeed know one Mr. Glen Elg. Because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Yeah, Tigre, what's happening, buddy? What's happening? What's happening? Nice suit, I suppose. Very, flashy. Not bad. You was actually not bad. Sorry? I was just messing with yous to see how good you were. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're on the oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You's calling me a liar? Is that what you doing? Ruh-roh. Get Canadian Judge in here right now. Canadian Judge would stand up to him, I know for a fact. So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court, witness? He never actually met the victim. That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. Ooh. The victim Glen... I'm actually very nervous. The victim Glen Elg. I ain't no lie, I never met Glen Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy in my office, Tender Lender. I waited around for him, but he ain't never showed. I never been to Tribulations joint, you hear? You've never been there? I see. Wait, no, you were there though. We have proof. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. I don't even need to do anything. I know exactly what I'm going to present here. Didn't I tell you? I got a big deal going down today. I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, Wright. It's really cool, by the way, that, like, again, characterization in this game is, like, 10 out of 10, always. It's always great. Like, how this guy cares so much about money. But even his face is, like, very much. So I ain't no liar, blah, blah, blah. Where is it now? Here it is. There was some guy near there who wanted to borrow cash from me. I said, no, I was a Tender Lender. I ain't never been to the joint of yours here. But how do you explain... How do you explain this then, sir? How do you explain this? Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What are you talking about? We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. Ugh. If you've really never been to Tribulations, what was a book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk? You've been snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain? I ain't no broad controlling me. By the way, when I'm thinking of like a Brooklyn type accent, I think of like Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! I've never been to Brooklyn. I only ever know, like, you know, the Brooklyn Rage. That's the only thing. And I don't want to give him that voice, you know? You know the Joey Wheeler kicking the door. Yeah. I don't know. I love that impression of Joey Wheeler. Order, well, witness. I think it's time you started to tell us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry, forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day. What? But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm close to proving it was him. Yeah, he's not very good at this, Furio Tigre. He's like he's been really easy to catch out. I just jinxed it, didn't I? He did meet Glenn Ellick that day. And he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. One of the best benefits for me with this Let's Play, by the way, is that as I'm editing, I'm watching the whole video pretty much like in bits as I'm editing it. I get to look over the evidence quite a bit in between each episodes, not because I'm like intentionally doing so, but you see a lot of what they're talking about. When I'm skimming through and going like, okay, edit this part out, edit that part out, put a fade in here or something, you know what I mean? And you're kind of seeing all this stuff. I get to look at the evidence more than I do when I'm playing the game, which some people might say is bad, but like it's not like I'm directly going like, okay, let's take a look here. I just see it while I'm editing. I have to. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. No, you were there beforehand. Or were you? You were there beforehand, because Maggie saw you. Maggie saw you. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. But no, hold on a second though. Not only did you arrive after this, but... Is this the floor plans? The door is here. The entrance is there. You entered through there and you saw right away the ugly scene? No, you couldn't have. He was behind a freaking booth if he was there. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out and I went straight back to my office. Oh, really? I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then? Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it, if I wait around here any longer, I'm gonna have to make the normal express. No more stupid questions. No problem. Anytime Tri passes you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays the penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. You know what? This is one of the times where, like, me and Godot can totally agree on something, and that's just like, that's clearly all the judge does at this point. So do it. Yes, sir. The Special Express ain't cheap, right? So just so you know, since you're paying. Oh, man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? It doesn't. It does not. Let's bring in, like, Von Karma. I think Von Karma could, like, take on this guy. I was supposed to move the kid in the rest. This is what we're talking about here. You couldn't have seen it. You could not have seen it. We saw this earlier. You could not have seen it. You're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a detecting pro. And no one escapes the phoenix clutches. Caw! I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, Tried? A new line of irrelevant questioning? These are the floor plans of the crime scene. If you say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre, from there, your field of vision would have been covered in an area something like this. Yes. Indeed, the witness have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Nah, there's dividers. There's dividers to make it feel like you're the only person in the place. Unfortunately, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why, that's true. Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. So from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him. Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony? Sorry, I'm doing his voice. Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. But the defense just proved that point to be mute. Yes, 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 Phoenix. I love when Phoenix is confident. The victim was witnessed by Mr. Kudo, but not Glen Elk, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. Who was this imposter? That's the thing. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious questions being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? Wait a second. You say that the killer murdered, so we know them already. So then it would have to be Furio, right? And then impersonated the victim in a performance for Victor Kudo? In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. It would have to be Furio, right? Like, who else could it be? There's no one, like, it can't be, like, Bruto, because he's too young. The killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Where witness? Wait, were they asking me who the killer was or who was the imposter? Because I thought it was who was the imposter. That's cute. You think you can pin this on the Tigre? Maybe you don't understand. The Tigre is the king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on, you've got the guts. You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Oh, we're hiding now too? Sounds like me. It sounds like it must be you, old man. You've got the guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, don't leave me to handle this alone. Huh. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Kudo. Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no. The servant girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That wasn't Maggie. There's no question about it. She's very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Like, that hair, like, if we're being honest with ourselves, and I didn't want to believe it because I felt really bad for her, that haircut is totally Viola from behind, right? Like, and I didn't want to say it because, like, I actually kind of like Viola. I think she's in a bad place mentally. But, like, it just makes sense. And it also makes sense why, when he said the straps were loose on the outfit, because, like, she's a little bit, like, smaller than Maggie. You know what I mean? Like, a tiny bit smaller than Maggie, which would make sense if it's not her size. So she put on Maggie. Wait, does that mean they took off Maggie's outfit, or did he give her a new maid's outfit? Or maybe there wasn't maid outfits in her size. Yeah, maybe let's think of the better one. Let's think of the one that's not horrible. How about that? Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains, he saw the accused put poison in the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee. Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Huh. Found your pen at last, Trite? It was in my pocket. But anyway. Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen Elg, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glen Elg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also a part of the show. What, you mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was the waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? I feel bad about it. I know she's doing stuff bad, but it's very clear that after her accident, she was never right again. But it's Lisa. There's no way it could be Viola. Don't try and pin it off. Okay, we have to. Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cavdarini. She's an employee of Tender Lender. He's making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight if you know what I mean. Oh my god, yeah, that is kind of terrifying. Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, stated the following. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy. Yeah, she did say this as well. I forgot about this part. And she had kind of a cackling laugh. There's just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when the eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There was only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. This is actually crazy. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, is you.
Witness, what have you got to say?
SQ. Sorry? He's alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about? You've got it all wrapped up nice, huh, right? But you've missed one real important thing. But that can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you hear?
What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre?
What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. I don't agree, but we'll do it. Like, I guess we need to, like, erase all doubt.
Will you explain yourself to the court? I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?
And remember, we can't. Actually, I think I'm gonna save, guys. After when we can save now. Okay. The reason I want to save is because I feel like we're getting to like the later stages of this, and like I don't want to be freaking. I don't want to have another situation like last time where I had to play through like a whole half an hour worth of stuff. Again, yeah, I loaned El Cash about $100,000. That day, he was due to have a little chat. The kid had it in his paycheck payback date, you see. So when he tells me he's got no way to pay up, I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming, "Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know, real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over." Wait, what?
Now I see that the principal amount you loaned Mr. L was $50,000. Yeah, well, you've got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. His motive. He has to have one, but what is it? Well, there was one statement I want to press right away, and that's just because, like, I don't understand it fully. Like, I think he's saying that, like, this one over here. I think he's saying that, like, if the waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over. Yeah. But I think that the issue here is, what he's saying is that if the waitress didn't kill him, if you look here, I was ready to flatten the guy. What would he have done? I think we need to talk about this. We have a save here. It's not much of an issue, guys. The waitress, you mean? The girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair. Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, and over and done with. Maybe I should push a little on this. Ask about what Maggie did. This is what I mean. What things would have happened? Okay, this is great. This is good. This is good. What would have happened? What do you mean things would have been over and done with? Are yous all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before the waitress got in the way.
As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect what you just said. I think he did have I think he did. I think he did, because remember we said before, we said in the previous episode, we think he wanted that freaking software virus, the virus. I think he wanted the virus. We said it before as well. The Tigre's motive, huh? Do you remember what we said? We said that he wanted that, yeah. I'm gonna present the MC Bomber thing. And we said this as well to him. We said this in the previous episode, that this is what we've always thought about. You wanted this. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elg owed you, correct? I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were really after. Yes, I agree. What are you getting at, Trite? What else would a moneylender be after other than money? Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. This is worth in the millions, remember? The kind of money that would single disc like this would fetch. What is that?
A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber.
A computer virus? What does one of those do?
A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer.
A computer? What does one of those do?
Where's Canadian Judge? I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is This is the important point. If they don't show that, it's gonna be weak, man. They have to show him explaining computers. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Yes, we heard this as well.
Several $1 million?
Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glenn Hellick had no way to repay the money is crucial. Yes, because if you knew you couldn't get the money back anyway, you're just gonna lose out on money. So he must have known about the MC Bomber stuff, and he had the thing on his desk as well. We said this before as well. Glenn Elg was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money.
Objection.
You're trying to suggest the witness' motive was to get a hold of the program? Exactly. The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, Trite. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder. Of course he could, provided that he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to... What was he pressured on again?
It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share with us? Why did Mr. Trite need money to the tune of $1 million?
The $1 million is surgery. And he needs to pay back Bruto. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? The accident involving a car and a scooter, in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery.
How much of this do you know?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million, which is exactly what you might have got from that. And yet, when the payment was due last month, you somehow managed to pay it in full.
$1 million? A preposterous sum. Somehow, someone should sue those HMOs.
Not wrong. No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of that, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. Okay, so I guess I was thinking that's a crazy amount. So I was right to think it was a crazy amount. I guess that's not exactly what people would have to pay all the time. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it.
You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright?
Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cavadarini.
Did you say Cavarini?
Bruno Cavarini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cavarini. Yeah, everyone takes notice, which is so cool. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Bruno Cavarini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elg's life to pay your debt. And that makes sense. Like, if the mob is after you, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be terrified too. Like, I'd be scared too. I'd be so scared. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on the CD. Glen Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened, but he can't, and neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. I love the way, by the way, when Godot knows something is true, he acknowledges it as well. You know what I mean? It makes you feel really good too. There's what we saw at the beginning of this whole trial. So he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy. He murdered Glen Elg and then made his next move. To frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cavarini played the role of Miss Bird. Yeah, it all kind of like falls into place. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. Mr. Kudo. The witness being one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Who would have thought Victor Kudo would be the one guy who really put a dent in this to allow us get through the full case? Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way a chef would have been kept in the dark about it. But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. Get them, Phoenix. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan. Order, silence, or I will... Yous put on a good show, Spiky. If yous want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. I agree. You do? Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why he took one more precaution. Yes, he did. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out. You impersonated Phoenix. What? Another one, Mr. Wright? He impersonated Phoenix. It all goes around in a circle like most of these cases do. Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? That is a big penalty. What was this trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? So it's this. Yeah, it's the paper badge. What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation. Well, you were. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you. Standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disrespectful, shabby defense I'd ever seen. That's really cool that the judge kind of defending us in a way there too. Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Hey! Forget about... Oh my god! Oh, what the hell happened to you?
I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh?
Have you no pride, sir? This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court, we deal with people's lives.
Mr. Godot is right.
Your Honor?
Speaking for myself, I'm absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by memory without evidence to support it.
Is the badge not enough for you?
In the defense has no further evidence. If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive.
But we've come so far. We have come so far. You say he impersonated Glenn Elk. You say he impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. I mean, if he did that, like, I'm sure he's willing to do other things. Like, why would he do that then? You know what I mean? You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee. Oh, you're back? You're back now, Mr. Boy?
Sucks to be you, Wright. Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get mauled. You just got that?
All we managed to do in here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. But I think that, like, I think that someone, like, admitting to, like, lying this much and then admitting to impersonating a freaking, like, lawyer to get someone prosecuted. I think at that point, that's enough evidence. That's more than enough evidence. Looks like I won't be needing a refill. If I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook.
The witness cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tigre.
Well, this is sour. Who's holding it? Is it? Your Honor, sir, I think it is. Yes, Gumshoe! Hero of this court case, look.
Detective Gumshoe.
Sorry I took so long, pal. I staked everything on this, my badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this too.
What is it, detective?
Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence.
What?
January 8th, 2:48 p.m. District Court Defense Lobby number 1. You know when the music's still playing when we're out here, something serious is gonna be happening. Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab. Don't worry about it, you're here. The results? About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle. Ooh, so do you know what the prints belong to now?
You think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know.
So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it.
You bet.
Oh, yes, clear as crystal all over the bottle. They're Furious Tiger's paw prints, alright. That's great. We've got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for us, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on the bottle now.
Huh? What?
Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the Tigre put poison in Glenn Elk's coffee. Yeah, he's not wrong. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now.
I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use.
That's not true. Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
This is our last chance to help Maggie. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time.
I'm gonna bawl. This is making me so sad. This is Gumshoe's big story. This is his big character moment, and I love it. This whole case. It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking any news to me, pal. Oh my god. Detective Gumshoe? I just got chills. You've been working on something for me?
Sorry I let you down. Oh my god, my Gumshoe. I know you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now.
Detective Gumshoe, wait!
He's gone.
Is there anything we can do now, Nick?
I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. Small bottle added into the... Put in the pocket. Okay, it's not added. Okay. The victim's ear medicine covered in Furio Tigre's prints. January 8th, 3:04 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 4.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
I've granted you a recess so you can prepare this decisive evidence you discovered.
Yes. Don't keep us all in suspense. Trite, show us. Naturally, we can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste.
How much more of time are we gonna waste? I ain't been to court before. But use lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion.
Sorry guys, I've been thinking a little bit there, and I'm sorry for the pauses. I've been thinking a little bit about like what we can say. I'm actually at kind of a little bit at a loss here. Unless we can prove there was poison in the bottle, but like... I don't know.
No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright.
Well, no, I can't prove anything we knew with this evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here, but maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit.
Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court.
I mean, all we have is the bottle. That's literally all we have. This is the defense's final piece of evidence.
Isn't that the victim's?
Your Honor, naturally the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre.
What? But Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information?
Everyone here knows what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in this courtroom should be theoretically be in the dark. Oh my god, are we gonna lock him in? Are we gonna make it? No, my prints are on that pansy-looking bottle. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what the hell's in it anyway?
A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. I agree. Seems like perfect excuse for some phony. Yeah, this is so good. Yes, Phoenix. If you can't beat them, Mr. Tigre, this is the evidence. This is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains potassium cyanide. Phoenix, I'm so behind Phoenix lying in this situation because he is surrounded by liars. You know what I mean? Turnabout is fair play. This isn't even tit for tat. This is like tit for tat 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 tat. You know, like this is all over. This bottle contains potassium cyanide.
Potassium cyanide?
The poison used to murder Mr. L, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. On this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that? Oh my god, this is so good.
You make a good clown, you know that?
What? You ain't never gonna get this to stick. You just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna... Oh no, it's not gonna fool him. A bluff?
I can see straight through you Phoenix Wright. That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it.
No. This is the bottle we found traces of poison in.
Don't mess with the Tiger, or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown. It was made of glass.
Okay, calm down. Yes. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Oh, what's wrong, Godot?
Where's the coffee cup? Slide into your hand, buddy. Look at my handsome lawyer of a liar boy. He's got you now. Got him at last.
What? Why is everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle.
Is that the bottle you're referring to?
Yeah, that's it. The bottle with the cyanide was in. But you ain't gonna find my prints in that bottle. Don't let that cozy looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell that guy where to go. You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said? What I just said? What did I just say? You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison. Yous don't know. Yous messing with who yous messing with. I'm the Tigre. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better of me? Sure. The last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. Oh my god, Phoenix. Phoenix is awesome. That's my best growl, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh lord, he's remembering. That's actually a really cool visual, though. Holy. The eyes in the darkness. What's going on? Looks like a blackout. Oh, and that's really cool too. Well done, Wright. I saved my 17 cup of coffee just for you. Oh, he threw it on us? Savor it. While you watch the police restrain your prey. Oh my god, he's admitted defeat. He has admitted defeat. This feels so good. Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe, and if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Well done, Judge. Now then, that's one thing you wouldn't get from Canadian Judge, in fairness. Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tigre, Mr. Godot? He's being arrested on suspicion of murder, Mr. Glenelg, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Honestly, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this guy should be fired or whatever, but like, the judge should be at least called into question. He almost sent away an innocent woman for the rest of her life with like the most fake evidence I've ever seen and the most phony evidence. Like, this should be called into question a little bit. Yes, she was. And in the absence of genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tigre is truly a frightening criminal. The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Whoa. What? Well, I am now in the position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. I don't know why, like, sometimes I'm like, why don't I have a face cam there? Like, no one's even watching, and I did like a Power Rangers pose for not guilty. That's what I do when I'm playing games as well. It's very weird. Like outside the channel. That is all. This court is adjourned. That felt, by the way, him showing a little bit of respect for us as well is pretty cool. January 8th, 4:10 p.m. District Court defending lobby number 1. Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Maggie, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. That felt so good. Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago. But now I feel like I can forgive him. Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger. Look, Nick. In the doorway. Detective Gumshoe. I just know, guys, if you need a room, I know just the table where you can go under. Wait.
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Maggie.
Thanks.
I knew you were innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Oh, well I was... guess I'll be heading off then. Oh, Gumshoe.
Wait up, detective! He just ran off. Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that we have got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But Maggie, he had to do his job first of all. Like he would be no of help to us. He wouldn't be allowed near any evidence at that point if he kept lying in court. It's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. If it wasn't for him, we would not have had the bottle in the first place. Detective Gumshoe was running around in circles for you. He was doing it for you. Poor guy. Looks like she still is ready to forgive him. I can understand though, she's under some incredible stress. I'm not going to just be like condemn her for like being a little bit mean. She just got found innocent when previously for a while she thought she was going away to prison for her whole life. Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick? Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie, you know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all this. I wanted to believe that, sir. But on the first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up. He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He had to report the facts. He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it. I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate. Is it the... We still have it, don't we? We very much still have it. Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom. That's... a present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe. I actually really like weenies, you know. Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know. Yeah, the trials dragged on a bit today, didn't it? Is it okay if I eat this now? I mean, if it's still fresh, go ahead. Oh wow, what an image. Eating with tears in her eyes. So how is it, Maggie? It's really good. It's a really great. I hope they like get to make up a bit more as well, though. So the case of the phony the false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. Great image. And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. True. Very true. Is that the last we're gonna see of Viola and like Armstrong? Because I kind of would like to see what happens or know what happens. We're gonna get a preview of the next case, aren't we? Oh. Wait, no, that's young. That's young. Oh my god, that's young. That's young Miles Edgeworth, right? Because he doesn't look that young now. Wait, I'm gonna look up. Like 1 second. No, not this case. I'm just gonna look up. Yeah, that's young Miles Edgeworth, isn't it? Isn't that young Miles Edgeworth? But still, though, the fact that we're gonna get to see Edgeworth in any case, yeah, because he doesn't wear that nowadays, and he looks a little bit older, and his hair's a bit more like refined now. But Jesus Christ, man. I got like chills when I saw him. Oh my god. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video and thanks so much for watching this series. This is the last recording session before I go back to work. So videos, again, as I said, they might get a bit shorter. It might depend on the time period and what we're going to be doing. But what I will say is this, guys, thank you so much for supporting this series. Your comments are the best on this series, guys. I love reading them. I love hearing about them. It makes me feel so happy. I'm getting like chills just thinking about the fact that we could talk to Edgeworth again. But what's Phoenix gonna do when he has two of his... Anyway, I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.